Welcome to Cosmic Whispers, where cosmic mysteries come alive. Your journey beyond the stars begins now. Imagine it's dusk. The last golden rays of the sun spill across an ancient landscape, where mountains loom like frozen waves. Stretching far beyond the horizon, a colossal serpent of stone winds its way across cliffs and plains, the Great Wall of China. You place your hand on the weathered stones, still warm from the day's heat. They vibrate faintly under your fingertips. Or is that only your imagination? In this moment, standing on a relic that has endured for thousands of years, a strange question creeps into your mind. What if this isn't just a wall? What if it is something else entirely? Something much older, deeper, and more profound? A boundary, not between nations, but between worlds. At first glance, the idea seems unbelievable. The Great Wall has long been celebrated as a defensive masterpiece, a triumph of military engineering stretching over 6,000 kilometers. It guarded empires, repelled invaders, and witnessed the rise and fall of dynasties. But hidden behind this familiar history are mysteries rarely spoken of outside local legend, strange lights that dance across the wall on moonless nights, soldiers who walked a patrol and never returned, their comrades finding only abandoned footprints leading off into nowhere. Rumors of doors in the mountainside that appeared where none had been before and disappeared just as quickly. Tales too unsettling for the court historians to record, but too persistent to completely silence. Ancient villagers living near remote sections of the wall told stories of ghost gates, invisible passageways that would swallow those who stumbled through them. In some accounts, the lost would reappear days later, speaking in tongues no one could understand. In others, they were never seen again. In certain provinces, mothers would warn their children, never walk too close to the wall alone at night, or you might be taken by the mist. What mist? No one could say for sure. Perhaps it was the shifting fog that sometimes rose mysteriously from the ground, or perhaps it was something else entirely, something that pulled people beyond the reach of this world. The landscape itself seems complicit in these mysteries. Geologists have noted that the wall often traces lines where seismic and geomagnetic anomalies cluster unnaturally. In one survey conducted in 2015 by a Sino-European research team, magnetometers recorded sudden spikes and dips in the Earth's magnetic field along isolated stretches of the wall, fluctuations too sharp to be explained by normal geological processes. Instruments that should have pointed unerringly north sometimes spun wildly, as though pulled by invisible forces. One curious detail: these magnetic disturbances often coincided with ancient gates and towers, places where, according to legend, the boundary between the worlds is thin. Some scholars have proposed that the wall might have been built along what ancient Chinese geomancers called dragon veins, mystical currents of energy believed to flow beneath the earth. While modern science views these beliefs with skepticism, it is intriguing that many of the most strategically important parts of the wall align almost perfectly with these ancient maps. Could there have been a forgotten knowledge, an understanding that certain places on Earth are inherently unstable, pulsing with energies that sometimes open brief, invisible doorways to elsewhere? Physics, too, offers tantalizing possibilities. In the realm of quantum mechanics, the idea of parallel universes is not mere fantasy. The many worlds interpretation, proposed in 1957 by physicist Hugh Everett, suggests that every decision, every action, every particle interaction spins off countless alternate realities. Normally, these worlds are completely inaccessible to each other. But what if under extraordinary conditions, such as intense gravitational stress or magnetic disturbance, a temporary bridge could form, not a gaping portal crackling with lightning, as science fiction imagines, but a subtle, almost imperceptible rift, just wide enough for a human being to slip through without ever realizing it? The Great Wall, with its immense mass, its specific alignments, and its construction atop ancient geomagnetic hotspots, might unwittingly serve as a network of such bridges, gates between the folds of reality. If even a fraction of the legends are true, if even one patrol of soldiers vanished not into the fog of war, but into another universe, then the wall is more than stone and mortar. It is a monument to the unknown. And consider this chilling thought. If gateways truly exist, along the wall, who or what might have come through from the other side? Every great journey starts with a few brave explorers. Right now, Cosmic Whispers is just beginning, and your support means everything. If you enjoy unraveling the mysteries of the universe, hit subscribe. It's free, and it helps us grow this community together. Imagine standing alone atop the wall at midnight, the cold wind whispering secrets in your ear, the stars unfamiliar overhead, and the ground beneath you shifting almost imperceptibly. Would you have the courage to step forward, knowing you might not be stepping into the China you know, but into another world entirely? The Great Wall looms large in our collective imagination, a symbol of strength, perseverance, and protection. But history, like the stones of the wall itself, holds cracks, and through those cracks sometimes strange truths emerge. To truly understand the whispers of parallel universes tied to the wall, we must first return to its origins, not the sanitized versions offered by modern textbooks, but the tangled, often mystical reality of ancient China. Construction of the Yi Wall began over 2,000 years ago during the reign of Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of a unified China. Historical records tell us of armies of laborers, soldiers, peasants, prisoners, even scholars who displeased the emperor, all driven under brutal conditions to build the earliest sections. But among these dusty chronicles, hidden in more obscure texts like the Shanhai Jing, the classic of mountains and seas, are passages hinting at an even older awareness. Descriptions of walls that divide the earth from the unseen kingdoms appear in mythologies dating back to long before the Qin dynasty. Could the concept of a barrier separating not just territories but realities have ancient roots? The Ming dynasty, which undertook the most massive rebuilding of the wall between the 14th and 17th centuries, preserved some of the most curious incidents. One such account, preserved in fragmented records from the Wanli Emperor's reign, describes a battalion dispatched to repair a damaged section near Jiayuguan Pass. According to the documents, the soldiers, more than 300 men, marched into a heavy, unnatural mist. Only 20 returned. They spoke in broken, disjointed sentences, seemingly unaware that several days had passed. Some were found trying to speak languages that no one recognized, not Mongolian, not Tibetan, not any dialect known to the Ming court. The event was dismissed officially as sunstroke-induced madness, but rumors among the palace scholars spoke of a crack in the air where the soldiers had marched, a shimmer that swallowed them whole. And these are not isolated tales. Throughout the centuries, imperial officials received scattered reports from border posts along the wall. Strange creatures glimpsed beyond the battlements, neither man nor beast. Sudden disappearances of entire patrols without a trace, even in regions where no enemy forces were known to operate. Lights hovering over remote towers, casting no shadow, making no sound. These anomalies often occurred in the same regions where modern magnetic and gravitational anomalies have since been recorded. Even today, researchers venture cautiously into these mysteries. In 2008, a joint Sino-Japanese archaeological team reported strange findings near an abandoned watchtower east of Badaling. Their instruments, thermal scanners, magnetometers, and even basic GPS trackers, behaved erratically whenever placed within a certain radius of the tower. Batteries drained within minutes. Temperatures fluctuated wildly, dropping from a comfortable 20 degrees Celsius to freezing conditions in mere seconds, only to normalize again without any identifiable cause. The lead researcher described the sensation of walking through invisible curtains, where reality itself seemed to ripple. Skeptics argue that natural phenomena, geothermal vents, underground metallic deposits, or simple equipment malfunction could explain these effects. But even seasoned scientists admit in private that the sheer number and concentration of anomalies along certain segments of the wall challenge easy dismissal. Something about the construction or the locations chosen by the ancient builders seems to resonate with forces still not fully understood. And then there are the dreams. Hikers who spend nights camping near the more remote stretches of the wall often report vivid, unsettling dreams, visions of foreign skies, landscapes that shimmer and warp like reflections in disturbed water, cities where impossible geometries twist the mind. Some wake to find themselves several kilometers from where they fell asleep, with no memory of having moved. Local guides have a term for it: the call of the other road. Could it be that the wall was not just designed for defense, but for containment? That ancient emperors, whether they understood it fully or not, sought to pin the very fabric of reality in place, to anchor their world against the tides of countless others pressing against it. One story, rarely spoken of outside academic circles, tells of a massive gate, far larger than any normal wall entrance, constructed during the Northern Qi dynasty, only to be buried almost immediately after completion. Legends say it was sealed because the stars had spoken and warned of what might emerge if it remained open. Excavations in the 1960s near that region uncovered the buried foundations of an enormous arched structure, unlike anything else along the wall. No official explanation was ever provided. The site was quietly closed to the public, and today only faint traces remain. As we dig deeper, we must ask ourselves, did the ancient architects of the wall know they were building atop a cosmic fault line? Were the watchtowers not just for spotting human enemies, but for monitoring something far stranger, something pressing against the very walls of our reality? Imagine standing guard centuries ago, torches flickering against the black sky, feeling not the presence of distant armies, but the cold touch of another universe brushing against your own. Would you have understood what you were facing, or would you, like so many before, simply vanish, swallowed by a breach unseen? As we journey deeper into the mysteries surrounding the Great Wall of China, we must venture beyond the realm of folklore, ancient texts, and unexplained phenomena, and into the very science that might help us understand, perhaps even confirm, the existence of a portal woven into the very structure of the wall itself. Can science illuminate what ancient myths have hinted at for centuries? Could there be a scientific explanation that bridges the gap between reality and the impossible? Let's begin with one of the most mind-bending theories in modern physics: quantum entanglement. In the simplest terms, quantum entanglement is a phenomenon where two particles, no matter how far apart, remain connected in such a way that changes to one particle instantly affect the other. This spooky action at a distance, as Einstein once called it, defies everything we know about space, time, and causality. It suggests that at the quantum level, the universe does not behave according to the classical laws we rely on to navigate our daily lives. What if, in rare conditions like the intense magnetic and gravitational anomalies detected along the wall, quantum entanglement could extend beyond particles to larger structures, creating a kind of gateway between alternate realities? Imagine a quantum rift, one that would act much like a bridge between parallel worlds. Now consider the wall's construction, a massive, sprawling structure laden with both ancient history and geomagnetic oddities. The very act of its creation, a monumental human endeavor, might have set in motion some cosmic accident. Some scientists, albeit in theoretical circles, speculate that such immense forces could potentially ripple outward, bending the fabric of space-time. These gravitational distortions, tiny but significant, could very well allow for quantum tunneling between alternate universes. In other words, the Great Wall could be one of the rare places where the veil between our world and another is thinnest, but there is more. In the late 20th century, a groundbreaking experiment conducted at CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, offered the world a tantalizing glimpse into the very possibility of alternate realities. Known as the CERN particle accelerator experiment, it demonstrated that when particles collide at immense speeds, they create conditions where tiny, temporary pockets of space-time are formed, rippling in ways that seem to defy our understanding of physics. These are not black holes, but rather miniature warps in space, almost like tiny gateways that open and close in an instant. Could these pockets of space-time resemble the anomalies near the Great Wall? Could the wall, through its enormous mass and unique construction, act as a natural filter for these quantum rifts, amplifying them in some way, or even making them stable enough to become accessible? What we consider to be gravitational disturbances, magnetic anomalies, or fluctuating temperatures could in fact be evidence of these rifts in action, slips in the fabric of space and time, fleeting and invisible to most, but detectable under the right conditions. If this is true, then what some call lost time or disappearances along the wall may be the result of human beings accidentally stepping through a dimensional tear. But there's another layer to this, the concept of multiverses. The idea that our universe is just one among countless others, each with different laws of physics, timelines, and possibilities, has been a subject of intense debate among cosmologists. The many worlds theory, first proposed by Hugh Everett in the 1950s, suggests that every decision, every quantum event, spawns a new universe. These worlds, though completely separate in most cases, might occasionally overlap in places of high energy or gravitational strain. Places like the Great Wall, where such forces are uniquely concentrated. Perhaps the wall's very design, an intricate system of watchtowers, strategic fortifications, and aligned pathways, intersects these alternate worlds at key points, creating temporary windows where reality seems to fold, offering glimpses into other realms. Imagine this. On a crisp evening near a remote section of the wall, you're standing at a watchtower just as the sun begins to dip below the horizon. The temperature suddenly drops. You shiver and glance up at the sky, but something feels off. The stars above are not the same as you remember. They seem too bright, too close. As you stare, one of them flickers in a way that seems unnatural. Suddenly the wind picks up. The ground beneath your feet hums with a strange energy, and a shimmer passes over the landscape, like the faintest of distortions in the air. You turn to run, but the path ahead of you is different. It leads into a forest you swear wasn't there before. Could you have just glimpsed another universe, one where the sky is not our sky and the trees are not our trees? Was that shimmer a temporary overlap of realities? Such experiences, though few and far between, have been reported by travelers, hikers and even soldiers near the wall. They describe moments where the world suddenly seems wrong, time feels warped, minutes stretch into hours, or the air itself seems to thicken. Some believe these are simple hallucinations, the result of fatigue or environmental stress. But what if there's something more? What if, for just an instant, the Great Wall of China became more than just a stone barrier? What if it became a portal, a fleeting doorway between the infinite versions of reality? To add to this, the work of scientists at institutions like MIT and Harvard University has raised further questions about the feasibility of such multiversal overlaps. Their work in the realm of string theory and quantum field theory proposes that our universe might not be the only one. It could be one of many, each existing alongside the others in a vast, unobservable cosmic landscape. If this is true, then places like the Great Wall, where immense forces are concentrated, might be able to tap into these hidden layers of reality. Could these very places hold the keys to understanding the true nature of the multiverse? The evidence is subtle, but the more we examine the wall, the more it appears to hold within it an ancient secret, perhaps a secret the builders themselves never fully understood, yet unwittingly stumbled upon. The wall was more than just a defense against human enemies. It may have been a safeguard against something far more mysterious and far more dangerous. As we near the end of our journey through the strange, mysterious, and possibly otherworldly realm of the Great Wall of China, one question remains at the forefront of our minds. What if everything we've explored, the legends, the science, the unexplainable occurrences, isn't just coincidence? What if the Great Wall isn't just a human marvel built for defense, but a key to something much bigger, a doorway to parallel worlds just waiting to be unlocked? There's a fascinating, almost eerie symmetry in the way history has treated the Great Wall. Built to protect an empire from invading forces, it stands as a literal and symbolic divider, blocking access to China's heartland. But in many ways, it may be the very idea of blocking that hints at its deeper purpose. Is it possible that the wall was not only built to keep the Mongol invaders out, but to keep something else, something much older and more dangerous, trapped? Within Perhaps over the centuries, it has quietly served as a sentinel, standing guard not just over the physical realm, but over the fabric of reality itself. But what is it that the wall was protecting us from? Is it the very unknowns of the multiverse, forces and entities beyond human comprehension? The idea of parallel universes has tantalized philosophers and scientists for centuries. But could there be something lurking beyond these realities, something that our ancestors recognized long before we had the tools to understand the vastness of the cosmos? One intriguing theory suggests that the wall might have been constructed on the site of an ancient, natural anomaly, an intersection of energy fields, perhaps caused by subterranean volcanic activity or a concentration of rare minerals beneath the Earth's surface. These forces could have produced a kind of tear in the fabric of space-time, an opening to other dimensions. If true, this could explain why certain sections of the wall seem to resonate with a strange, almost palpable energy. The magnetic anomalies, the fluctuations in temperature, the sudden distortions in time, these might be side effects of the wall's location sitting atop a natural cosmic fault line, as though it were built to hold back something not entirely of this world. In this light, the wall's very architecture, its winding serpentine path, the strategic placement of watchtowers, and its construction materials, takes on new significance. It was never just a line to be crossed. It was a boundary, a line that demarcated one world from another, and those who walked along it, whether soldiers in the Ming dynasty or modern-day tourists, were stepping in the shadow of something far larger than they could comprehend. And then, there are the more fantastical theories, those that stretch beyond the borders of conventional science. Could the Great Wall have once been a physical manifestation of the boundary between universes, a massive, tangible structure that acted as a conduit for the movement of beings or objects between realms? Some believe that in the distant past, humans were not the only inhabitants of this earth. What if ancient civilizations, now lost to time, had an intimate understanding of these cosmic boundaries? Could they have built the wall to act as both a deterrent and a bridge, to keep certain powers locked away in one universe while allowing others to cross into our world? This idea, while bordering on the mythological, draws parallels to ancient stories of gods, demons, and otherworldly beings walking the earth. What if, just for a moment, the wall was not just an artifact of history, but a key to the great, uncharted unknowns of the universe? Could it be that the wall, this grand, seemingly simple structure, was designed to keep us safe, not only from enemies across the plains, but from enemies that exist beyond the stars, beyond the veil of our understanding? As we sit on the precipice of discovery, we find ourselves asking, what does all this mean for us today? Could it be that the mysteries of the Great Wall are not just relics of the past, but pieces of a much larger puzzle? Are there still hidden doors waiting to be unlocked, ready to reveal secrets of the universe that defy human comprehension? Perhaps the most profound thing we can take from all this is the idea that our understanding of the universe is far from complete. The Great Wall, a symbol of strength and perseverance, may have been a key to something even more powerful, the realization that we are not alone in this vast, infinite cosmos. That other realities, universes with different rules, different histories, and different possibilities, are as real as our own. And in the midst of our daily lives, surrounded by the noise of modern existence, we might be standing on the edge of something unimaginable, just waiting to be discovered. And so, as we look toward the future, toward the endless possibilities of space exploration, quantum physics, and the mysteries of the multiverse, we must ask ourselves, how much of what we think we know about the world is really just the beginning? What if the greatest discoveries, those that change the course of history, are still waiting to be unearthed, waiting for us to break through the walls of our understanding, just as the Great Wall once broke through the boundaries of an ancient empire? The universe, like the Great Wall, is a vast and mysterious frontier, one that may not just contain answers, but entire new worlds waiting to be explored. If you enjoyed this journey into the depths of cosmic mysteries, consider liking, sharing, and commenting on what you think of the Great Wall's connection to parallel universes. What are your thoughts on the theories presented? Could there be a hidden truth to them? We want to hear your ideas. Let's continue the conversation and explore this mystery together.